And now, live in studio, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, a real estate and finance expert, and goes to bat for you every day as your consumer advocate. Your host, Brandon Rhymes.
All right. Thank you for tuning in here on 1250 Wins. We appreciate you listening to this show every night from 7 to 8. I'm your host, Patrick Hyland, on Financial Fridays, we like to call it, but it's still a consumer advocate show, and we talk about a lot of things. We have a lot of partners at the Real Estate Quarterback Partnership Agreement and the Real Estate Quarterback Show, and I have two fantastic ladies here in studio with me. Tara's a publisher, and Bridgette is a life coach, and we're just going to talk about some things out there on how you can maybe get your book published, how we can help you out. Tara has some big names she's going to share with you that have been helping her publish books and get things going, and we're going to talk a little bit about insurance later on in the show, and a little bit about how to make your life better and have a good, positive mental attitude, because that's what it's all about. Tara, welcome to the Real Estate Quarterback Show. You're more than welcome, dear.
All right. Thanks for having me on.
No problem. No problem. Just a little technical glitch there. No, you're more than welcome to be on the show. We appreciate you being a partnership, agreement with Brandon in the show.
Yeah, absolutely.
We have about 70 partners now, looking to get up to 100, because the more people we can help out in general, in business, then we can help out more people in the Tampa Bay community. And that's what Brandon and I strive to do every single day. Tell us a little bit about your publishing company, please, Tara.
Well, so I have a local publishing house here in Tampa, and we specialize in helping business owners on how to write their nonfiction story in 4 weeks and publish a book in order to make them an expert in their industry. So the really cool thing is that we actually utilize technology, like I said, to get the book written and done in 4 weeks. So we kind of do a process that's a little bit different than, say, like ghostwriting, where somebody would come in and sit down, interview you, and then they go back and write, and then they come back and interview you, and then they go back and write. With us, what I do is I sit down, I interview you in about 4 hours. I pull all the information out of your head, and then we have it transcribed. We put it onto paper, and then it goes to my editorial staff. And we do like 3 or 4 rounds of edits to actually turn it from an interview process into an actual story where it sounds like you sat down and wrote the entire book yourself. You have no idea it was through an interview. And then we can give you a rough draft of your book back in 2 weeks.
That's pretty impressive. That's great for a lot of people. Folks that listen to the show know I'm in the insurance business. And I promote a gentleman named Patrick Kelly a lot. Okay, because he's written some excellent books, just stress-free retirement, okay, easy retirement, just a few of his books. He has more just to make investing easy and not crazy and not taking unwanted risk. I mean, you and Bridgette here are young enough to where you can take some risk, but you don't want to take too many risks, because you get into your 50s and 60s, you don't have time to make that money back. And that's the worst thing you can do. Yeah, that's pretty good, Tara, that you can do that for a lot of people. So it doesn't matter what you'll do a business book. What if somebody has just a little life story they want to get out there? Can you help them out with that also?
Yeah, we can do like memoirs, biographies. Most of it is nonfiction business books. But even when you're talking about someone's business, their life, obviously, and what they've done and what they started the business is all intertwined. So really, we talk about people's background, where they grew up, how they got into the business, and then we intertwine that. Because otherwise, if you just had like a straight up business, it'd be like really bland and dry. So we try to get like, the personal story in there too. The only thing we don't really do is, like the sci-fi, horror, romance novels, children's books. We kind of stay away from that. We can publish them, but we can't go in and write them because that's like a whole different process.
The ghostwriting process, for lack of better terminology, do you try to mix somebody up with somebody you think they'll get along with, or that really doesn't go into the equation? Or how do you match somebody like I'm a sports guy, but a finance guy? Getting me with a lady who knows fashion and who's going to write about that probably wouldn't be a good mix. But I could be wrong, so I want to hear your opinion on that.
Well, that's why our process is different because we actually don't ghostwrite. So I'm the one that sits down with all the authors and I interview them to pull the story out. So everyone's sitting down with me one-on-one. And then once we have all that information that's basically just coming out of your story, then we give it to our editorial staff where it goes to like 3 to 4, sometimes even 5 editors just to edit it and turn it into the story. So we're really not ghostwriting. So it's completely different because the ghostwriting process, it would be important that you had some similarities with the writer because they're actually writing on your behalf. With my process, I'm just sitting down and interviewing you. So these are all your words, so we'll capture, all of your everything about the insurance, about the sports, even like your tone, the certain kinds of words you use. And that's why my process, it's a lot better than ghostwriting because like the book I did with Kevin Harrington and Anthony Amos, Anthony is this huge rugby player from Australia and he has all of his Australian accents, and he speaks completely different than Kevin. So when it was a co-authored book, when the chapters go back and forth from Anthony to Kevin, with this process, we kept, Anthony's Australian boisterous personality, and then we have Kevin's personality. And so you can tell when you flip through the chapters, that, oh yeah, this sounds exactly like, Anthony, and this sounds exactly like Kevin. Where the ghostwriter, it's different because they've never walked in your shoes. They never lived your life. So it's really hard for them to get into that emotional, type of aspect and actually write your story when they're not you.
Ah, that's very interesting. Where did you attend college, Tara?
I actually went to college in Nebraska,
Okay.
So I was at UNL, Cornhuskers.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, nothing wrong with that. Hey, they've got a great tradition there. Tom Osborne and,
Yep.
who's one of the biggest supporters and fans of Nebraska Cornhusker football, and he is from the state of Florida.
Who's that?
Larry the Cable Guy.
Oh, yeah, we love Larry.
There you
Isn't
go.
he from, Lincoln, I think? I thought he was born in Nebraska.
Yeah, but he's been living here right outside of Orlando.
Oh, really? I
And
didn't
I'm
know
trying to
that.
think of the city, and I can't right now. But
Yeah.
It's funny that you're from there. Did you study journalism in?
No, actually, when I went to college, my degree's in graphic design.
Oh, cool.
So, the cool thing was that my degree was in graphic design, and then I worked in the copy and print industry. And I actually moved from Nebraska to California, and I was the corporate business rep for Kinko's in the Silicon Valley.
Wow.
So that's where I got my expertise in the printing, like the formatting. So that's why I knew how to, lay the book out, how it's going to print, how it's going to, look. Because, self-publishing is a big thing right now. But if you're not a graphic designer, if you don't know how to lay out a book, I've seen some self-published books that are just horrible. And it breaks my heart because some of them are my friends and they couldn't afford my services. But I'm just like, oh, no, this is bad. This is really, really bad. Because what's going to happen is if you have that book, the cool thing is it'll make you an expert in your industry. But if it's poorly formatted and it's not edited, it's actually going to discredit you.
Yes, it is. Well, it's
So-
in that particular situation, bad publicity is not a good thing.
No.
Bad book doesn't even though you get the publicity is not a good thing.
It's not.
Nah,
I even
you
use
ruin
some
your
of these as
credibility.
examples and workshops of what not to do. And this is why you have to hire a professional because most people are not a graphic designer. They are not a professional editor. They don't know how to market a book. They don't know the inside and out. So it's worth it to spend the money to hire the expert so that you have a good book that you can use to get you on TV and radio, to do those speaking engagements, sell the book in the back of the room. It's another tool in your toolbox to take your business to the next level.
No, I think that's a fantastic idea that you can do that for somebody. Does it vary as far as the rate on how much? What's a normal book? How many pages roughly, and how long does it really take to get it done?
Well, it's an industry standard 5x8, 100 pages is actually 20,000 words, which really isn't that much. And of course, I didn't bring books with me. I always have
It's all
books with
good.
me, and today I didn't
With
bring
that,
books.
you always have books like
Get on her,
know.
Bridget.
in your hand.
I was like, well,
We're just
today
teasing
I
you.
took like a spa day, and so I was
Wow.
very
Girl.
relaxed for like 4
good.
hours over at Innisbrook. Oh, I love it.
That a girl.
Awesome.
I was at Innisbrook a couple weeks ago. You know
For
why?
the tour, the PGA tour.
Very good, young lady. The
Awesome.
Valspar tournament. It was awesome.
Yeah,
And,
I went and saw, who was the concert they had? It was Rascal Flatts. Yeah, were you there for that?
No, I didn't attend that. I just went
Okay.
Sunday, the last day. I always like going the last day and walking the course and seeing who's going to win it. It was a great tournament.
Awesome.
Went to overtime, and Innisbrook is a neat place. It's funny. We're looking to bring them aboard one of these days and see if they'll do something with us.
Yeah.
And speaking about golf, young lady, my good friend at Cheval, Brian Thornbury, had me and a few fellows come out and play in the golf outing today, and it was a lot of fun. If you want to have a great experience playing golf, you want to go to Cheval. It's in Lutz, just a little bit above Carrollwood. It's a great track. You'll have a great time there. Call Cheval. Give Brian Thornbury a call. Tell him Patrick Highland sent you. He'll give you a nice rate. He'll do a corporate outing for you. You'll have the time of your life. I went to play today, it being Good Friday. You took a spa day. I took a golf day, young lady. And I'm playing in an ALS tournament Monday there at Cheval. So I want to get out there and play the place so I didn't look like a fool
How'd you
going
do?
out there. I did okay. We got poured on the 16th
I was going to say, did you get wet? Yeah.
but it was still fun and had a great time. So that's what it's all about. And it was a lot of fun.
So none of you worked. 2 out of 3. I'm the only one.
You're the only one work.
Who
You're
made the world
life
go
coach.
round
You
today.
have to do life coaching work every single day.
Life doesn't happen if I'm not coaching.
Exactly.
Right?
Now you got it, Bridget.
It's all good. Good thing I love what I do.
Yes, that's right. You do. That's a great point. We talk about that on the show all the time. You know, you have to love what you're doing, or you can't be an advocate for the consumers out there.
They're going to feel it if you don't.
Absolutely. You come to say, hey, I'll help you write a book about your business. If I don't feel your passion, I'm going to say, I appreciate you coming out, Tara, but, let me think about it, But I see passion. You know what? I might say, hey, let's get it on. Let's make it happen.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about. We're going to talk more about publishing. We're going to talk about life. We're going to talk a little bit about finances. And Pat Donovan and I are going to talk a little bit about sports, too. So we're going to hit the whole gamut here on 1250 Wins, the Real Estate Quarterback Show. Welcome back to the Consumer Advocate Show here on 1250 Wins. Your host this Friday evening is Patrick Highland, and I have Tara and Bridget here in studio with me. Tara, let the audience know what you do professionally, please.
I write and publish books for business owners.
Fantastic. I'm going to have to talk to you after the show and see if you and I can talk about writing a book about Mr. Wonderful here. That's what I tell my wife anyway. And she says, yeah, sure, pal. But anyway, and Bridget, I know you are a life coach, so explain to the folks out there what that entails, please.
Sure. Through the magic of powerful conversations, I call them powerful coaching conversations, I help people go confidently in the direction of their dreams, whatever that is. So I help people close the gap between where they are today and where they desire to be and where they dream to be, whether it be in business, personal life, what have you.
I'm digging that, Bridget, and I'll tell you why. That's what I do when it comes to finance. Let's plan a course of action, okay, where you are today, where you want to be in 20, 30 years from now.
Right.
If we accomplish that, you're going to be happy, going to make it safe, not going to make it risky. But I always joke around with people. I go, you want me to make you a millionaire? I go, yeah. They go, yeah, Patrick. Good. Let's start out with $1 million, and we'll make this happen for you.
There you go.
Okay.
That
come
easy.
On. Or Patrick, I want to take big risk. I said, okay, when do you want to go to the Bahamas and we'll gamble, or the Hard Rock or Vegas? You just let me know.
Let's do it. Yeah.
And they're like, man. I go, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to put the money safe and sound. You're going to get, a decent interest rate, nothing crazy, but it's going to be steady.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're going to put you in things where you don't lose any money. And please, anybody I can help out there in the insurance business, either pop on. I know a lot of people are driving. Check out. It's really easy to find. The Real Estate Quarterback Show. You'll see me on there with Brandon Rhymes. Just call us, text us. My phone number, in case you're at home and you want to write my number down, it's 813-966-1052. That's 813-966-1052. Patrick Highland. Anything in the realm of insurance, you give me a call. If I can't help you out, I will know somebody in the industry, being in it for over 30 years, that can help you out with it. So again, feel free to call me, Patrick Highland, at 813-966-1052. Now, we were just talking a little bit about you help people write books about their business. You're mentioning the gentleman from the Shark Tank.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how did you meet him, Tara?
Well, it's funny. I actually went through this, I call it an entrepreneurial boot camp. That was here in Tampa, and he was one of the mentors along with Anthony Amos. And so I signed up for this, boot camp because, in college, they don't teach you how to run a business. They don't tell you, how to manage your finances and hire employees and do all this stuff. You have to learn it on your own. So I thought it was in my best interest to, do this program. And I'm really glad I did, because through that, I was able to meet Kevin and Anthony. And they were actually one of my first clients. So that was pretty awesome, because when I started the boot camp, I actually did not have my publishing house as of that time. I had published 3 books myself in the Dating Jungle series, which was my first book was called 10 Rules to Survive the Dating Jungle, which was my experience of going through divorce and venturing out into the wonderful singlehood in my 30s. And what a mess that was. So, but from that first book, I was able to, write it, publish it. With that book, I was on CNN, ABC, Daytime TV, Fox. I had my own radio station. I almost said station. Show.
A little prophetic there. Maybe in the future.
I know,
Yeah, maybe in the future, girl. I like that. See?
Freudian slip. So
That's right.
So, I was able to harness, and basically realize the power of the book. And that first book was my golden ticket to success. Everything came after that book. And then people were coming to me saying, well, how did you do it? And when you have someone like Kevin Harrington, his stature, and Anthony Amos, he owns a franchise called, it's a mobile dog grooming unit that he started in Australia, Hydro Dog. And when they're coming to little old me and they're like, well, how did you do this? It's like, aha, that is a business. And so that's really when I formed my business just only 2 years ago. And, now we're a full service publishing house. We have a la carte packages. We can write it, edit it, publish it, put it on distribution channels all over the world, market it, get you on TV and radio, make you a #1 Amazon bestseller. And we have 38 books published to date with 9 bestsellers, one of them becoming a #1 Amazon bestseller that we outsold John Grisham
Wow.
in September. So it's been pretty amazing.
No, to beat him is pretty impressive.
Yeah, it was. So that's
He's written some awesome books that have turned into awesome movies. So
Yes, absolutely. And it's funny because, with the Amazon bestseller, it's all about like the listed category that you're in. And the book that beat him was called Plaintiff 101 with my author, Karen Mertez, and her charity, Fulfill Your Destiny. And so hers was a book about a 4-year litigation process where she was hit by a drunk driver and having to go through that. So we were in the litigation category. And so is John Grisham, even though his books are fiction, it's about law. And so when we did the bestseller campaign, I didn't even know that he was I wasn't even looking that he was in there. And the fact that we outsold him, we pushed him down to #3 for only like a day or so. But hey, I mean,
that's impressive.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned the charity, and I always publicize charity. Last week, we had the Humane Society on.
Nice.
So what is this charity about, Tara?
It's Fulfill Your Destiny, like I said, run by Karen Mertez. And it's from the money that she won from her lawsuit that now it goes to help victims with severe brain damage, because that's what happened to her. So she just actually had her annual charity, which Bridgette was there with me.
Yeah, fun time.
Last Saturday at the Empress Tea Room.
Yes, in Carrollwood.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I know where that is.
Yeah.
It's funny because I live up in that area.
Okay, yeah, it's a really nice little area. And so the money that we donated to the charity and then the auctions and stuff that she did, actually we raised money to donate a car to a woman here locally who had not had transportation 5 years. I think, was she homeless at one point? I can't remember.
One point she was. Yes, yeah.
And so the charity, it was called, so the other charity that was along with that one was Wheels of Success. And so all of our money went to buy that car, refurbish it, give it to this lady so that she could get a promotion at her job and, help her out in life. So it was really awesome.
Yeah, it was a cool experience to be able to see you're at a charity event. And typically you go to those events and you give and you have auctions and you just leave. and hope and pray and believe it goes somewhere positive. But to actually, in the middle of the charity function, we got up out of our seats and left the tea room to go outside and watch this woman be presented with a car. It was the most beautiful thing I've seen.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
It's nice to hear
really
stories like
cool.
that, because you made a very good point there, Bridge. A lot of charities, and I help out a lot of veterans organizations, and some of them, have been found out that not on the up and up. And it's sad when
it's
you hear
unfortunate.
that. It really is. Or what else I don't like is when the CEO of these nonprofits, and hey, they need to make a living too.
Of course.
Okay, no problem. You need to get paid for your time and energy, $50,000 to $75,000, no problem. But when you give yourself a $250,000, $300,000 raise,
Yeah.
really?
And there's people still struggling that you're supposedly helping. And what's the most sad part about it is that it makes people that would otherwise give feel jaded about giving. So then
Yes.
they withhold possible giving because people that are unscrupulous.
Here's another thing I do. Talk about consumer advocate again. I get the phone calls and I answer my phone no matter what. That's just my nature. And if you call me about a charity, I'll listen to you. My first question to you is real simple. How much does the charity get? How much does your organization get? And you always, well, we make sure they get at least 10%. I go, thanks for calling.
It's okay.
Click.
10%.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's a joke what's going on out there. For the dollar you give, the call center gets 85 to 90 cents and the charity gets a dime.
Yeah.
I mean, what kind of nonsense is that? And again, they have to make a living. They have to keep the lights on. But I think that's a little disproportionate, to say the least.
Yeah,
I use your name to make 90% off of you.
Right.
Should be the other way around.
It definitely
You
should.
know, you're a life coach. You're a publisher. Let's suppose you're my agent. So we make $1 million. You want 900,000 and give me 100? Well, that's a heck of a deal for you.
That's actually what the big publishing companies do, right?
Yeah, that's actually the traditional publishing industry. They do take 90% of your royalties. And so on like a standard book, say like $20 that sells on Amazon, Amazon takes their cut, printing, shipping, blah, blah, blah. You're going to get a $7 royalty. Of that $7 royalty, the big publishing house takes 90%, so you'll get like $1.
Yeah.
But with my company, I give you 100%.
See, I'm digging you more and more, young lady. Now you're talking. See, I like that. Well, but okay, now that was slick, and I like that. But you got to pay money to you up front, though, too. So there's the
exactly.
trade-off.
Yeah.
Have you ever done a deal on a contingency situation?
Well, I do some barters. I will work with some people, like in the industry, as long as it's a win-win. Because the problem is that with me, you'll have a book for the rest of your life. So what I get on the other end of it, I have to make sure that I'm getting well compensated.
Darn right.
Because you'll have a book forever. So, I've gotten burned on a couple deals. So I make sure to write up very well written contracts so I don't get burned.
Well, no. And it's funny you say that, because when everything I do now, when it comes to finances for somebody, okay, if it's just selling a simple policy is one thing. But I always have an attorney over my shoulder. Hey, is this the right thing for him? Are we cool? Is everything intact here? Because I want to make sure I'm doing them right and there's not going to be any issues down the road. So your point's well taken. Hey, Patrick, I want to do your book. Let's put a deal together. Let's put it on paper so there's no hard feelings. So when we get back, you're listening to Patrick Highland on 1250 Wins here on the Real Estate Consumer Quarterback Show. We're going to talk a little bit about how, a lot of people need coaching in life, coaching on a football field, coaching in a weight room, need a personal trainer. We're going to talk to Bridgette about that right after this. All right, welcome back to 1250 Wins. Your host, Patrick Highland, here on a beautiful Friday evening. Good Friday, because this is a live show. And I hope you all have a wonderful Easter. Please be safe out there. Hopefully, a few people had the day off today, like Tara and I. She took a personal day. I took a golf day.
Not
but
fair.
Miss Bridgette was doing life coach. Where were you being life coach, Miss
Oh
Bridgette?
my gosh, anywhere and everywhere. I'm a mobile unit.
That a girl.
Yes, but yeah, I do it on Skype. I meet people in Starbucks. Yeah, I have
Very cool.
clients all across the country and can coach people all over the world. It's amazing.
That's awesome. What's the name of your company, please?
It's actually called Bridgette the Go Coach. So, yeah,
like
BridgetteTheGoCoach.com.
Exclamation point. Bing.
Yeah, exactly.
Come on now, Tara. We got to wait a second now. Time out. If this is cool with you, now,
It's totally cool.
No, because I think this would work.
Okay.
Instead of go daddy, Bridgette go mama.
That could work. There
I
you
think
go.
that could
I'm the
work.
go mama.
That's it, man.
I'm the mama that gets you going.
Going. I
Yeah.
like
Get you
that.
going and writing your book.
Definitely.
Talk about
I'm all
things that
about
just-
action. I'm telling you, life, if there's one thing I know for sure, and the clients that work with me know for sure, is that life rewards action. You know?
It's funny.
That is very extremely true.
I love it.
You know, though we talk about that. Well, you know this in sales all the time. Activity breeds results.
Exactly.
And it's so true. Now, there's a fine line. I'm going to throw a little sports at you. John Wooten, especially in March Madness right now, he was the UCLA famous basketball coach for a lot of years. And he was always a big proponent of hard work, okay? But not proper activity is not going to lead to victory, so you have to do it properly. Just by doing a bunch of things isn't going to make you a winner.
Not at all.
You might think, oh, boy, I'm working hard, but you're not working smart, or you're not
Right.
doing the fundamentals to get better.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if it's business and sports. If you don't do the right fundamentals, you're not going to get the results.
Yeah.
Or the wonderful definition of insanity, keep doing the same thing, expect different results.
Yeah, yeah, and many people do that. They have dreams or they talk about them incessantly, and some people until the day that they die. Oh, I've always wanted to go to Hawaii. One day, one day, one day.
I saw it on TV a couple times. I thought, I can do that.
They do, you know?
Exactly.
And so in terms of coaching, what I do with my clients is, and a good coach, probably Wooten, did the same thing, is have a clear picture of the destination. I'm sure it's the trophy, it's the end game, it's the championship. What's the championship of your life? What's the championship of your business? What's that look like? And I help a person paint that picture clearly, connect their head and their heart, because sometimes we disconnect the two, and they have to work in tandem, and help them understand that feeling and that emotion that they'll get when they achieve that goal. And then I back them out of that and take baby steps. Okay, now what's the first step that you can take right now that you have yet to take, that you haven't taken yet, to get you in to that direction and get them that momentum going? And it's amazing. I tell you, I remember working with a client, and she was just frustrated at not being able to grow her business and get it off the ground, and she quit corporate America to really see this thing going, but was still a little bit fearful about doing some things. And so we worked together, and I do what I call a little high flame coaching. I turn up the flame sometimes on my clients and really push back on what they think is true, because sometimes we have unconscious beliefs about why we can't do something, or something will always be like that, or that's just difficult. And so I'll push back and listen to you and really question, how difficult is that really? And I had a really awesome client where I really gave her some high flame coaching. And after one session, kicked her butt into gear. She doubled her rates for what she was doing. And in that month, went from making, I think it was about $200 a month, to having her first $17,000 month in revenue. Mackerel. Yeah, it was pretty awesome. I mean, and that was just one coaching conversation. She's taken off and done some great things.
I have to imagine with what you do, part of it is kind of teaching people to learn how to enjoy the process, because so many of us are so goal driven that we don't stop to enjoy getting to the goal.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah. And I do sometimes. In fact, a good point. I had a client this week, and he's just ripping and running and, you know, doing things in finance as a financial planner. And he's trying to be a family man and a husband and, you know, a father. And I just kind of heard him. And he's like, yeah, and I met up with this guy, a friend of mine, for dinner on Sunday. And I just said, I wish I could just really just get away, just escape for a week and escape. I said, why don't you? And by the end of the call, he's taking a full day for himself next week. And you'd be amazed at how much, when you just detach from that rat race that you think that you're in, and you're getting things accomplished, to your point too, Patrick, that busyness doesn't mean you're, you know, making a business at all. You have to be focused, and you really do have to take that time and create space for creation to happen, for sure.
You'll appreciate this, Bridgette, and Tara, you will too, I believe. And Pat and I will remember this story. His name is Jim Valvano. He passed away. He was a great basketball coach for North Carolina State. And every year before they had their first practice, he had the guys go up on a ladder and cut the nets down like they won the national championship.
Beautiful.
And people thought, this guy is nuts. Well, 3 years later, guess what?
Yep.
They won the national
It's
championship.
powerful. Yeah.
And the guys at first were like, this doggone coach, he's a nut. And then the second year, they're like, yeah, man, this could happen.
Yeah.
Third year, like, we're going to win it this year.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It's powerful. And the brain does not know the difference between fake and reality. And when you do things like celebrate a win before a win actually happens, or you close your eyes and visualize, which I have my clients do constantly, and you really tap into the emotion and the feeling that you want to receive, you physically create brain pathways that now your brain is seeking that reward in the future, and then it becomes easier to figure out, now it's how do I achieve that again? So it's a really powerful exercise. I absolutely love that.
I found it works on just about everything but your wife.
Yeah, it's funny. You women are difficult, you know? It is something else, but it's all good. Nah, it's on a serious note again. You're right about that because, see, on anything in life, and if I take my time and visualize a golf shot,
Yes.
I will do better.
Yeah.
Baseball players visualize what this guy's going to do. Football players visualize what they're going to do. If you visualize it before it happens, your mind can do some powerful
It will
things.
figure it out.
And it really is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, if I really get that they call the zone in
Yes.
sports,
Yes.
you dig where I'm coming from. You can almost will things to happen.
You can.
It's
Yeah.
amazing.
The mind is way more powerful than we ever tap into its power for.
A great example of that was this week. I don't know if you guys saw the 5-year-old girl who dragged her mother out of the pool while she was drowning.
I didn't
Yes.
see that.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Physically should not be able to do that, but in the moment, that's when your mind can kind of bring you to, like you said, do things that maybe you don't think you can.
Beyond. Wow.
It's just
That's
amazing.
powerful.
You know, you've seen so many people do so many things that are just extraordinary. Here's another thing that I've never said on the show before, but it's so true. You know, and hey, it's Easter Sunday, going to get a little religious just for a second here, but God must love ordinary people. You know why? Because he sure created a lot of us.
Yeah.
And you know what else?
What else?
It's amazing, though. Ordinary people can do extraordinary things.
Yes. Amen to that.
You know,
Yeah.
and it's amazing what can happen out there and what you can do.
Yeah.
We really appreciate you listening to the show here on 1250 Wins. I'm Patrick Hyland. I host on Friday nights. We talk consumer advocate things. We talk finances. Hey, we're talking about life. We're talking about getting your book published. Stay tuned. We're going to talk about more of these things right after this.
Experts.
All right, welcome back to 1250 Wins, the consumer advocate quarterback show. From 7 to 8, Monday through Friday. And I'm your host, Patrick Hyland, on Fridays. And I have two great guests in studio with me. Tara, Miss Book Publisher of the Year Award from me. And Life Coach of the Year, Miss Bridgette. We were talking a little bit about life and how you have to do things and keep a positive mental attitude to make things happen. I'm sure when you do some of this interviewing with people that you're going to write a book about, you really want to try to get into the positive approach and get them excited about what you're talking about, because that's going to come across on the pages too.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, when we're doing the biographies, I mean, some of these people, obviously they're writing a book for a reason. They have amazing stories, and some of them are very emotional. You know, I keep telling everyone that I really have a degree in therapy because when these authors are in my office, they're crying, you know, they're pouring their soul out to me. And obviously they trust me to sit there with them, for them to tell me these stories. So it's very therapeutic in a way, you know, to get these stories out. And that's why I teamed up with Bridgette because, you know, doing the book, I've basically in my company, I've taken away all the obstacles. I finance everything for people. Like our cheapest package is $125 a month. So I've taken away all the obstacles. Then what's left over is fear. So that's where Bridgette comes in. We've been doing these webinars together where we're coaching and helping people. I'm getting kind of more like the technical side of things and how we can actually get it done. And she's coming in helping people remove the blocks, remove the fear. Because at the end of the day, you know, it may be your goal to become a published author, but it's scary. You know, it's scary to put your soul out there for everyone to judge. And there's all these emotional things going on, especially if your story involves your family, past relationships. Like for my first book, I thought I would get sued by my ex-husband. My family would disown me. I would have no more friends.
Actually, your ex-husband is on the other line.
Is he? Okay, great.
Put him through.
But
We're not gonna let him on air though. We like her too much. If we didn't like her, we'd say, yes, caller number 1, come on in.
But, so it is, it is scary putting your story out there, for people to judge you. But actually what happened, and this is my little mantra, is success is behind fear. So, you have to push through the fear in order to be successful on the other end. So I went through, I published that book, but the complete opposite happened. It really kind of made me semi-famous. I did not get sued by anyone, thank goodness. My family and I have closer relationships now, my friends and I, because I don't really talk about this kind of stuff that goes on, like in your childhood and stuff. And my friends read it, even my cousins, and they're like, I had no idea you went through that. So it's really brought us all closer together. And that's why, for the people that are really just afraid to do it, I really want, Bridgette to be there to help kind of push them off the cliff. And there'll be a safety net at the other end, but just to know that you got to do this, especially if you have like that little nagging voice in your head that just keeps saying, you got to write a book about that. You got to write a book. Or maybe your friends or peers are like, hey, you need to write a book about that. If that keeps coming into your world, then that means that you need to write a book about this story because there's success on the other end of that.
No, you're 100% right, Tara. Pat Donovan over in producing the show. Thanks, Pat, as always. You mentioned during the break, it's funny, we have a lot of great conversations here. We talk about a lot of different things. Dick Vitale, all my listeners that are sports fans listening know who he is. Great basketball announcer. Well, he helped out a gentleman friend of mine, Tom McQueen, with a book, Letters to Ethan. And I'm not a big book reader, just to be candid. I'm always going to be straight with everybody. It's just who I am. So I had my wife read the book, Letters to Ethan, and he was writing a letter every day to his grandson and then published the book. Dick Vitale said it was one of the best books ever. And my wife was like, Patrick, you got to read this book. I'm like, oh, really? She goes, yeah. And so I read it and said, man, this book was awesome. I'm glad I read it. So It's amazing. You're right. People talking about fear. I want to touch on that. That was a great point, Tara. And Bridgette, tell me if I'm on the right track here. And this isn't for everybody. And it's probably not a good thing in some respects, but it is good in some. Fear of failure can be one heck of a motivator to make you better. When I played baseball, I was afraid to strike out, so I'd just battle because of that fear.
Yeah.
So
but
it can be detrimental too, though.
I mean, it's a balance, right? And
Yes.
I actually was listening to an audio book. I'm trying to think of the name of it now. It's not Success Principles. I'll think of it. But either way, the premise of the book is that the way that the greats of this world have learned things and they have followed a lot of people through sports and so on and so forth is through failure. And contrary to what we would think, it's really counterintuitive. The brain learns best and quickest by mistakes. But we're often afraid of making mistakes, of failure, fear. It's just we don't want to be embarrassed, a number of things. But that's the way the brain learns quick. It's like, okay, if you think about babies and children, how many times do they fall, get up, and they're not really fazed by it? And that's how they learn. They're like, okay, one foot in front of the other, fall. Okay, can't quite do it that way. The brain then corrects itself, and that's how we learn best, is through failure. So for those people that can push past it and through it and are not afraid to fail and fail fast, they succeed on a greater level than those people that are actually just kind of bound by fear and don't do anything. I mean, many of Tara's people that we met with recently after the webinar have been dreaming about books their entire lives, and they're, midlife later, and they say the greatest dreams are found in the graveyard because so many people die with plans.
It's true.
And dreams and stories, and we all need each other. A story shared just really, to me, frees somebody else.
It does.
If Tara was sitting here in handcuffs and shackles and I knew I had a key and the key was my life story.
Where is this show going?
That's another station.
He doesn't write romance novels.
Yeah.
No 50 Shades.
Hello, this is Howard Stern, a.k.a. Patrick Hyland. I have Robin and Tara in studio.
And if I had a whip,
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Men only think of one thing, right?
And we were nowhere near the gutter, and all of a sudden, hard right.
It's the handcuff thing. You can't go there with us fellow sports guys. Come on now. No, but it's so true. All kidding aside.
But yeah.
The key to the soul, key to the heart. That's really what talking about on a serious note.
Back out of the gutter.
You know, and hey, Mr. Pasquale Donovan over there, I need a good soundbite after about what I'm going to say, so I'm prepping you here. What Miss Bridgette just said, it's not how many times you fall, it's how many times you get up.
Yes, sir.
So
yes,
very important that we do that in life, and we're all going to fail. We're all going to make mistakes.
And don't be afraid to fall.
And don't.
Fall, laugh. What's the worst that can happen?
Exactly. Just don't hurt anybody.
Yeah.
Take care of your friends and your family the way you'd want to be treated. It's a real simple process, and that's all we have to do.
Yeah.
You know, the biggest thing in life is we fail to plan.
Yeah, very true.
Nobody plans to fail.
Right.
So, I mean, I just wish we could, you know, and Brandon always says this, and I really dig him for this. Do an act of kindness every day if you can. Like you said, we were kidding around, but if you have the key to unlock the chains on her, you do it.
I like that.
You know?
I hope so.
Yeah, exactly. No, I think
don't leave me tied up over here.
She's good people. She wouldn't do that to you.
No.
She wouldn't do that to you.
Uh-oh.
So, okay. All right, Donovan. I like the music, man. I like the music, brother.
Dig
it.
That's what I was waiting
I was
for.
looking for a Vince Lombardi, you know, or, you know, a Burgess Meredith from Rocky. Let's get going, Rock. You know, come on, man. Help me out here, Donovan.
A very different tone setter than I was thinking of.
Okay, sir. I apologize for that. I didn't set you up well.
We're going in all kinds of different directions here.
It's all fun. We have fun on this show. We really do. You know what I feel? People will do business with people they can relate to and have fun with.
You got that right.
Okay? Mm-hmm. If I come on here, here's what you need to do in finance. You put this money this way, and in 10 years it will double. And this is how you do it. You know what you're doing? You're turning the channel. But if we can make some jokes, you go, hey, this guy's all right. He's down to earth. Yeah. He likes to have a good time, but he's here to help me too. Mm-hmm. I mean, my biggest thing is I help out veterans go from their home to assisted living facilities or to a nursing home, and there's a VA pension out there for them. Okay, that's when I get serious. We can have fun with it, but that's what you do. We fill out the necessary paperwork and make sure that they get taken care of at a nursing home or assisted living facility. And that's you know, and then I try to help out the families. You talk about unlocking the key.
Yeah, I mean,
you know,
that's
from chain, because that's a lot on the family when that happens.
The least we could do. I mean, they serve our country.
Thank you.
And then they come back, and it really there's so much more that can be done. So God bless you for doing that work.
It's just amazing to see these guys, you know, and we all don't realize how fortunate and blessed we are. When you see how many families are out there, kids with problems, parents with problems the kids have to take care of, grandparents with health issues or mental issues. I mean, we're all in this thing together, like you mentioned earlier. Let's help each other out. Yeah. Let's try to tell a story to one another, be a friend to one another, to really be helpful and take care of them. Yeah. So
absolutely. And they have tons of great stories to tell. You know, being over there in combat, what happens, you know, coming back. A lot of them have the PTSD. Yep. So we have a one lady that we coach that hopefully she'll tell her story about being the caregiver of a vet coming back and how difficult it is. You
People
know,
don't realize that's the toughest thing. Yeah. You know, we're going up against the 8 o'clock hour here. I do want to thank, you know, Tara for coming on the show. Tara, please give a shout out to anybody who's been listening. And again, I always say this, if it isn't for you, you might have a family member or a friend. Maybe you have no desire to ever write a book, but you go, you know, my friend Patrick said he'd like to write a book one day. Boom. Give him Tara's number.
Yeah,
go ahead, Tara.
Absolutely. And that's the thing. Everyone has a story to tell. At least one. You know, your life is a story. But if anyone's interested, they can just contact me on my website. It's richterpublishing.com, and it's spelled just like the Richter scale. RICHTER publishing.com. We have our different packages on there. They can send us an email or give us a call, and we'd be happy to chat with anyone.
Awesome. Need some life coaching help?
Awesome. If you're feeling stuck or just like you could be happier in life or you've reached a point of success, but you're like, God, there has to be more to this, definitely look for me on my website. It's BridgetteTheGoCoach.com, and that's BridgetteThe bridgetthegocoach.com. And I'm on all social media sites at Bridgette the Go Coach. I love to post motivational things and funny videos, and like you, all about fun and excitement and spreading good energy.
That's
There's
awesome.
enough letters on Twitter for you to be Bridgette the Go Coach?
There you go.
Yes.
Absolutely. I like it.
Hey.
Letters.
Want to thank you for listening to 1250 Wins, the Real Estate Consumer Quarterback Show. My name is Patrick Hyland. If I can do anything for you, give me a call, 813-966-1052, or check out our website, Real Estate QB Show. You pull it up like that, REBQ, you'll find us. Thanks for listening. Catch you next week.